Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I take my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case, the curse of Little Bastard.
I'm not going to do it every night, every morning. I do it.
Every single fucking night this week, I have gone to bed at midnight, at the earliest, because I'm a fucking idiot and I get distracted by this, and then I get editing, and then I realize it's 12:15.
Yeah.
Although last night it was because we were playing Dungeons and Dragons and I got really into it. We were in a shark temple.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just play Dungeons and Dragons by yourself, and you decide when to go to bed.
Perfect. Exactly. How are you doing today, James?
Not too bad. How are you, Jake?
Not bad. I'm tired, and I have been thinking nonstop about what to show you today.
Well, I'm tired too, and you know what? It's because we physically work with our bodies. We're not just pencil pushers in an office.
Are we depressed?
Probably.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's why we talk about monsters at night.
Really brings the sunshine into my life.
Does it now?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, that's okay. I'll take your fifth.
Just kidding. We don't have that in Canada.
Oh, right. Sorry.
But I do look forward to it. It's fun. It's nice. It's you learn. You don't know if you're learning about real stuff or not, but you're learning.
It's all real, James. That's the scary part. Ooh. The only reason it's not real is because you're saying no.
Well, it is all up to me in the end, isn't it?
It is, actually. This is all about you. You're on a pedestal for this.
I give this pedestal a 2.5.
Skeptical.
More like a plinth, if you ask me.
I got a story for you, bud.
Let's hear it.
We're in Hollywood, California.
Ooh, best place in the world, I hear.
Nope. 1955. We are in the golden age of Hollywood. Shining lights. The boardwalk's amazing.
Movie stars.
Everything is painted in a layer of gold. The works. And there's one actor that's beginning to rise above them all.
Who is it?
James Dean.
Oh.
Do you know James Dean?
So the thing about me is I like watching movies. I couldn't care less about learning which actor is which. I know the name James Dean.
Okay.
If I saw a photo, I would know James Dean.
I have a photo of James Dean for you because I thought this might happen. This is James Dean.
What a handsome fellow.
That's what Hollywood thought. He was the new heartthrob on the scene. He was in an upcoming feature films known as Giant and Rebel Without a Cause, which defined youth culture in America for decades to come. James had just starting to pick up this year. Kind of became the year for him. He was getting jobs, he was getting some money. And if you remember in our last episode with Loch Ness Monster, there was a man at the time that could only exist at the time, Marmaduke Weatherall, and he was a actor and monster hunter. James Dean's somewhat similar. He is an actor and race car driver.
Oh.
Another job that would only exist at this time period.
How exciting.
I know, right? James loved his fast cars.
You know what? I also like my fast cars. We have something in common as James's.
That's actually kind of what drew me to this story for you. I was like, James likes cars. The guy's named James. And also, I really like this one.
What more do you need?
Yeah. So, James took some of his earnings, and he bought himself a 1955 Porsche 550 Spider.
Beautiful.
Which he nicknamed Little Bastard. Now, a week before, he had just met another actor by the name of Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness, you would know as Obi-Wan Kenobi. The first one, not Ewan McGregor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You would think he was aging great.
Yeah, something wasn't adding up there at first, but you know.
Yeah, the first one. The first Obi-Wan.
Checks out.
Now, On September 23rd of that same year, Alec Guinness is shown Little Bastard by James Dean before they were going out for dinner together. And something didn't sit right with Alec. He said the car felt almost evil to him, which he quoted in an interview that he did back in the 1980s. This is Sir Alec Guinness talking about James Dean's car.
Is tied to its bonnet, and I said, how fast can you drive in this? He said, I can do 150 in it. And I said, have you driven it? He said, no, I've never been in it at all. And some strange thing came over me, some almost different voice. And I said, look, I won't join your table unless you want me to, but I must say something. Please do not get into that car. Because if you do, and I looked at my watch, and I said, if you get into that car at all, it's now Thursday, whatever the date was, 10 o'clock at night, and by 10 o'clock at night, next Thursday, you'll be dead if you get into that car. I said, oh, nonsense. So we went and had dinner, we had a charming dinner, and he was dead the following Thursday afternoon in that car. It was one of those odd things.
Arrest that guy for murder. What the hell?
You don't think it's just one of the Obi-Wan predictions? Because even then, it was like, if Obi-Wan says something like that to you, I would listen, even though he wasn't Obi-Wan yet.
If Obi-Wan said something like that to me, I would listen. If some old dude who is a Hollywood actor said that to me, I'd be suspicious.
Now, they were about the same age at the time. This was about 30 years after the fact. But, so James did not adhere to the advice of Alec Guinness. Would you like a picture of Little Bastard?
I would. I would like to see that nice car.
Here's James in Little Bastard. There's a nice, almost like chromish blue car.
You know, it does kind of look like a bit of a death trap.
It does. I don't think they cared much about safety back then. They cared more about fast cars. You look at some of the cars at that time. Alec Guinness's fortune-telling abilities unfortunately came true. 1 week later, James Dean is driving Little Bastard to the Salinas racing event. He was supposed to race that day, or that weekend, sorry. He's accompanied by stunt coordinator Bill Hickman, photographer Sanford Roth, and his mechanic, Rolf Wutherick. Now, Hickman was in a car behind him with Sanford, the photographer, and Wutherick was in the passenger seat with James. They weren't supposed to drive this car that day. They were supposed to just take it out there and then race it at the speedway. But Wutherick advised James to break the car in, drive it on the way out there, see how you like it, see how it feels.
Right.
Unfortunately, his speeding antics and this car already being unsafe, at 5:45, a California Polytechnic State University student, Donald Turnipseed, turned in front of Dean's car. He was in a 1950 Ford Tudor, and apparently this car was a little taller and he couldn't see Dean's low-riding Porsche. When he turned, Dean collided with the car. This sent the mechanic, Rolf Wutherick, flying from the passenger seat and sent James's car flying across the pavement into the ditch. Bystanders tried to help instantly, pulling out, trying to get James out of the car. But unfortunately, by the time medical personnel got to James, he was dead.
A tragedy.
It was. And it was a brutal thing for a young actor. His biggest movies hadn't even come out yet. Rebel Without a Cause actually was going to come out the next week he died. And that was his defining role in Hollywood. To this day, Rebel Without a Cause is used in AV classes to learn about different lighting techniques, the way people act in it, stuff like that, camera. It was really ahead of its time, movie-wise, and actually, I really enjoy the film.
I'll have to check it out after this.
It's actually good. It's good. It's definitely a movie from the 50s, but it's good. Would you like to see pictures of the crash?
Yeah, let's see him.
All right. This is James' car almost immediately after the crash.
Well, what's left of it?
What's left of it?
That looks like it was quite the crash.
It was a brutal crash. And if you want to see more pictures, I got more pictures after it was picked up and brought back to a garage where they really zoomed in on the parts that were wrecked, which is basically the whole thing.
There is virtually no part of that car undamaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is destroyed. That is wrecked.
Yeah. Now, what if I told you that wasn't going to be the last death caused by Little Bastard?
Really?
Yes. Its rampage wouldn't end for 5 years.
Wouldn't end for 5 years?
Yes.
Oof.
James, have you ever heard of the curse of Little Bastard?
You know, I can't say I have. This one is new to me.
Okay. You look a little intrigued. A little intrigued by this one. It's a bit different.
I am. How does a wrecked car keep killing people for 5 years? I need to know more.
Okay. I want to ask you. This will be far fetched. What's your stance on curses?
Well, I definitely can't say that I'm a firm believer in them. They make nice plots for movies or shows or stories, but in day-to-day life, I don't think curses really play a role or exist.
We got taxes to pay. We don't got time to think about curses.
Exactly. There's too much going on.
Exactly.
Trade wars, car crashes. Who has time for curses?
Low on the list. Low on the list compared to other things right now.
One's never been placed on me that I'm aware of. If one has been, then it's been doing a great job, but I can't chalk that up to a curse because no one's told me I've been cursed.
And you've made the choices to get you here.
As far as I'm aware. Seems like it.
Unless someone's got a devious voodoo doll going on.
Right.
All right, well, I'm going to give you another question then. How many coincidences until something strange?
Usually 2 gets me thinking. Normally, I don't think it goes too far beyond that, but you know, the more you get, the more you start to think.
Okay.
Went through a weird period where I got deja vu like very frequently, and it was freaking me out. I'm going to be honest.
Wait, you didn't tell me this.
It was a while ago.
When did you get deja vu?
It was quite a few years back. It was just getting it seemed like a lot.
Okay.
I don't chalk that up to a curse though.
Deja vu is not a curse to you.
No.
Okay.
Is it to you?
It's a bit strange.
It is definitely strange.
I would say at least.
I think it's what they based the movie Matrix off of.
There's a part of it that is deja vu, at least. There is one scene that involves deja vu. Guess that's another term of saying that it was based on deja vu.
Part that I remember.
So after the car was destroyed and James passed on, the car was sold. It was bought by Dr. William Estridge, and he bought it from a salvage yard in Burbank and proceeded to strip it for parts.
I don't know what parts he could find in that. It was wrecked.
I'll tell you. Estridge installed the Porsche's engine into his Lotus IX race car. Then he loaned the transmission and suspension parts to fellow doctor and racer Troy McHenry. Now, I don't understand why racing is a very big pastime. Like, there's doctors and actors and stuff that are...
Hollywood baby?
I guess so. You don't see that much these days, which I find interesting.
Is all the restrictions they have on cars in California now. Can't even drive them, I hear.
They've resorted to scooter races or e-bike races.
Yeah, rental scooters and rental e-bikes. Throw them in the river when you're done.
As we do with our car batteries, baby.
Those are for the ocean.
Ah, damn. I'm doing it all wrong.
Silly.
So after they were loaned the parts, they both installed them in their cars. I think it was almost like a, hey, we got a piece of James Dean's car in our race car, and it became a big thing, right? Well, in 1956, the first race with these parts, both William Estridge and Troy McHenry are in this race. And in the first lap, William Estridge crashed his car, spinning out of control. He had some minor injuries, but Troy McHenry wasn't as lucky. Troy McHenry lost control of his vehicle and smashed head-on into a tree and died instantly. I know what you're thinking. We put a crashed car's parts into our race cars. Yes, but This was almost a year later than their first race, so they checked it.
The crash had worn off by then.
Yeah, they've checked it all out. They've probably checked all the parts, But of course, these crashes definitely built the legend. Hey, these guys were the only two guys that had James Dean's parts in their cars in this race, and they both crashed in this race. Very early in the race. So, coincidence?
Yeah, we're up to 2 deaths now.
Up to 2 deaths, but one coincidence?
One coincidence.
Okay, all right. Well, after this, the curse of Little Bastard began to gain strength.
Oh, just beginning.
Just beginning. This is when people were like, okay, maybe there was something wrong with the car. Well, it was then bought by a man named George Barris. He was a custom car designer known as the King of Customs. They picked up the car, brought it back to George Barris' shop, and when they were unloading the car fell off of the tow truck, landing on one of the mechanics, breaking his leg.
Shit, that's 2 deaths and 2 injuries.
2 coincidences. So we're at your limit now. We're still at the just weird coincidences, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It can happen. They're, these are mangled cars.
They are.
They're probably hard to strap down as opposed to a non-mangled car. Maybe it rolled off. You never know.
It's an argument, but it's not a solid one. James, I work in a scrapyard.
You do.
It is a lot easier to strap down a car that is mangled. The reason for that is mangled cars don't tend to move anywhere. You got to put a couple chains on it. It's on there.
Yeah, fair enough. I
However,
guess you're not worried about scratching the paint.
No. However, if a car is not mangled, it's got wheels, it can roll off still. It's a lot hard. It's really easy to hold down a mangled car. I haven't seen any problems with it. Unless you're an absolute moron, it's not hard to tie down a mangled car.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So.
No morons in Hollywood.
No, not a single one. I'm sure it's fine.
Land of the best and brightest.
Damn right. You better believe it, buddy. So, after unloading this car, breaking the mechanic's leg, they fixed all that, but George Barris wanted to sell parts of it. Like, this is James Dean's car. People want to take parts of it. It's not only is it James Dean's car, but it's in Hollywood. It's California. They're going to want parts of James Dean's car in your car. Of course you are. He sold the only 2 tires left on the vehicle to somebody, and both of those tires simultaneously exploded on the new owner's car. Coincidence number 3.
How? Where? Why? Did he hit a curb?
There was no explanation on how he hit a curb or anything, but both tires exploded simultaneously, causing the owner to crash. This caused George to be a little more nervous about the car. Maybe I shouldn't sell a broken car's parts. Maybe that's a bad idea.
Maybe.
So he locked it away in his shop, attempting to rebuild the car to its former glory. Now, this is a story from George, so I don't know if it's authenticity, I would say. But according to George, 2 thieves broke into his shop attempting to steal the car. And both of them got injured trying to steal the car. One of them was cut open and bleeding on the floor, and I believe the other just hurt like his wrist or something. There's nothing else to prove that. That's just from George Barris.
Right. Probably a couple of sharp edges kicking around on a mangled piece of machinery.
Oh, 100%. And back then, those cars are made of steel, baby.
Oh, yeah.
They'll cut you right open. Tetanus Central.
I've got an old car. That thing is steel head to toe.
Damn right. Strong car. Not good for you, but it's a strong car.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What are you thinking so far?
Well,
all the coincidences that we've had so far. Are we going past curse limit here?
Despite what I said, I think not quite yet. There's confirmed incidents, and then there's alleged incidences.
There are alleged incidences.
I've cut myself on a car. I've hurt my wrist pushing on stuff on a car.
Yeah.
Sometimes shit's hard to work on.
Yep. That's true.
So, that's just a part of the territory, I think, maybe with these alleged people breaking in and maiming themselves.
I can agree with that, honestly. That part I can agree with. I'm more interested in the crash part of the thing, and
yes, the crash.
Also the sliding off, crushing the mechanic.
Where's Alec in all this? He's I still have questions for him. Like, what the fuck do you mean don't get in the car? and you'll die in a week.
So you don't think it was like
Where's
a warning?
he in all this?
It wasn't a warning. It was like a threat. Is that you're saying Alec Guinness is on the? he was trying to do a hit on James Dean.
He's on my watch list. How do you just say that, then something happened, and then wait, you're just not part of the story anymore? Where's the interrogations? Where's the confessions? Anything? Is he coming back at some point, or is that it?
He is not coming back. This is it.
He's the one that kicked this all off.
I don't know. I think what kicked it all off was the crash, honestly.
Well,
can't argue that. If Alec Guinness just said that and no one crashed, it would just be like, oh, that's another Englishman just telling stories.
I'm trying so hard not to compare this to 9/11.
Can you explain to me how...
No, that's not part of it.
I need to know now. What the fuck are you comparing this to 9/11?
I was going to say, if someone predicted 9/11 and then 9/11 happened, which one's the bigger story here?
Exact. Okay, I get it.
I was trying to think of a better comparison.
So you think Alec Guinness is the prime suspect in destroying James Dean's car and killing him?
According to his own testimony, yeah.
Okay.
He's the one that said, and then said that he said, don't get in that car, you're going to die in a week.
You don't think it was just like a prophecy or anything? Or maybe he just had a funny
What a weird
feeling?
thing to say. No, I don't.
Well, maybe he had a sixth sense about the whole thing. You know?
Maybe he was jealous of James's new car. And then hired someone to pull out in front of him a week later. And just knew where he was going. You never know.
You're drawing lines that aren't there. I think you're just...
I don't think it's nothing.
There's never been one thing connecting that.
There's never been one thing connecting the guy that predicted the whole thing?
Not with destroying the car.
Not his own confession?
He didn't confess. He predicted. And he predicted it correctly, honestly.
These Hollywood types, man. I don't know. Anywho.
All right, so
that's where I'm sitting on it.
So James isn't about curses. You're about the conspiracy side of this.
Yeah.
You think he was an actor getting jealous of another actor's spot.
Or something. Like, you don't just say that to someone you just met. Did you meet him for the first time, or did he know him?
He actually did meet him quite recently. That's actually, according to Alec, this was actually quite recent, yes. Maybe you're just seeing things that the rest of the world hasn't, James.
I hope I'm not the first one to ask that question.
I have not seen anybody ask that question, actually. And I actually am kind of astonished that you brought it up, because I didn't even think about it.
No one thought about asking the guy that knew it was going to happen.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm just built different, I guess.
I guess so. Well, anyway, fast forward. In front of George Barris's shop, he was confronted by the California Highway Patrol. And they wanted to borrow the car for an exhibit on safe driving, sort of thing. Highway driving in California. They want to take it around schools, show the kids, hey, this is what happened to Dr. James Dean, it could happen to you, sort of thing.
Yeah,
right?
I remember going to something like that way back in the day.
Yeah, they would
tell you how they shoved that tube up your tube.
Excuse me? Was that English? What do you mean?
Shove the tube up your tube, you know?
The tube up your tube?
Yeah. Your urethra?
No, that's not what this was.
You get in a car crash, you're fighting for your fucking life. The nurse takes this big tube and shoves it up your dick.
I'm glad you took away the most important parts of these presentations.
Yeah, don't get in a car crash.
You get tubes in your dick.
Otherwise, they gotta drain you somehow.
James, always the forward thinker. Look at you go.
Go ahead.
Alec Guinness is a killer, and there's going to be tubes in your dick if you crash your car.
That's what I took away from it.
Well, I guess, you know what? They laughed at Jesus, too.
Shout out to all the guys with catheters.
So they wanted to take the car as an exhibit, bring it to schools, drive safely on the road, sort of thing, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, they took the car, and they brought it to a warehouse for safekeeping. The car mysteriously caught fire, burning the warehouse. In that night, they brought it there.
The wrecked car mysteriously caught fire
Yes. This is over
in a warehouse
year,
for safekeeping
over
of a
a,
wrecked car.
over a year after the accident. This is 1956-57 now. Now, when they went to inspect the fire, there was some damage around the warehouse. It wasn't burnt to the ground, but surprisingly little damage to the car. Not much burn marks.
Are we sure it was the car that caught fire and not anything else?
They claimed that the source seemed to be the car. But the car burned in some parts, but not as bad as what was around it.
Interesting.
So take that for whatever you will. It's a weird thing that happened. Just a strange thing. I don't know. That part breeds me out is the fire. Just a little bit on the car, but it's surrounding it. It's almost like spontaneous human combustion before a car, which I find strange. They then took it and went to bring it to their first school, where they reportedly lost it off of the car that was pulling it again.
Lost it?
It flew off the deck again and fell to the side road, crashing into another car. Didn't kill anybody, but again, it fell off the deck. So we're counting coincidences here. How many we got? 6?
Between 2 and 6.
Okay, we're between 2 and 6. Okay, well, they got the car back on. Reportedly, this car fell off several times when it was on the display stands at different schools. Apparently, they would bring it to school. This thing was on the road for a couple years, and it was more than once that this thing fell off the display stands.
Whoever's in charge of safety around this thing should have been fired.
Yes, or it wasn't done killing.
Is there another?
Apparently, this is more of an alleged story. The car fell off the stands, crushing somebody's hip at one of the school events. But that's alleged. And we'll get back to why there's a few alleged stories about this car. Continuing to transport this vehicle, 2 more tow trucks towing this car both crashed while towing this car.
The tow truck themselves crashed.
The tow trucks themselves crashed while towing this car. Like the flat decks that they're on.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Are those alleged or are those confirmed?
Those are confirmed. Now, this is where it got even more weird. We have one more death on our hands.
Oh.
Now, this is one that I think is even more strange. All right?
What do you say is the strangest?
I would say this is the strangest, and to me, this is where it goes a little... This is what broke me for this is more than a coincidence. So, apparently, while driving this car to another show, another road safety expo in California, the driver of the tow truck, George Barkas, was killed when he went off of the road, losing control of the car, crashing into the ditch, and somehow fell out of the truck, and simultaneously the Porsche Spider fell off of the truck forwards and crushed him.
It happens. Is this separate from the 2 aforementioned tow truck crashes?
Yes. So how many coincidences we got? We're almost at 10 now.
We're getting up there.
Now,
Running out of fingers.
Now, in 1960, when one of the tow trucks was transporting the car from Miami to Los Angeles, it disappeared, never to be seen again. No one has seen this car since, and there's only been one part ever found, and it was found, I believe, in the early 2000s and sold on eBay in 2021. And it was the original transaxle that was in a crate in Massachusetts. And that's the only piece of this car that's ever been found.
What about the tow truck driver who was transporting it?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Nothing's come up about that. The car just disappeared in 1960 and we have not been able to find it. The only piece of evidence that the car even existed, other than the fact that we know it existed, is the transaxle is the only existing part left.
Wild.
Yes. So, we're almost 10 coincidences here. What are you thinking about this all, James? I'm very curious. Is this this is getting a little more suspicious for you, or what do you think?
I think it's good that it disappeared, if anything. Wasn't doing anyone any favors.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. Honestly, some things...
Had the hat trick with murder.
It did, didn't it? That's a hat trick. And then disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just think it's weird. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It's not really like one where I can like be like, here's the evidence, here's this, here's that. It's just a strange story with a lot of coincidences that happened in it.
Well, I assume you're not lying to me when you tell me what's real and what's been alleged. So there have been a lot of incidences with this car.
Now, you mentioned the alleged, and I will tell you why there's a lot of alleged stories attached.
Because everyone in Hollywood's an actor and they like to make stuff up.
No, that can't be it. What? No.
What?
George Barris, the man king of customization who bought the car off of Dr. Estrich, he is a known, like, self-promoter. Just
right. Good for business.
He'll do anything for business, sort of thing. It is true that the Highway California Patrol did take the car, and some mysterious things did happen while they had it. However, basically, everything after the broken leg of the mechanic is a alleged story. Like the cut.
Even the death of that tow truck driver?
The death of the tow truck driver, no. I'm talking about in Barris's shop himself.
Oh, right. Sorry.
The one that was on display, the display story of the bystander getting his hip crushed, that's alleged.
Yeah.
The one with the tow truck driver, some say is alleged, but some say isn't alleged. It's kind of mixed up. So I don't know if maybe the driver crashed and didn't die, or died and didn't get crushed by the car. And then some people took it and then changed the story up over time and then kind of came back. And it's kind of been mixed together. So that's why some of the stories say they're alleged. Some of them say they're not. However, the race car at the beginning did happen. Alec Guinness's prediction of the car was eerily on point. He did predict it the week out, and he was right. A week later, James Dean was dead. And the car did go missing in 1960, and no one knows where it is. There was even a reward put out for the car in 2005, and no one came forward.
Maybe you bailed it and you didn't even know.
Could be a possibility. But, we say that, but man, I personally bailed Ronald Reagan's limousine from Expo 86 in Vancouver. I'm the guy that did that. I tell everyone I did that.
You have mentioned that once or twice.
Yes. And I'm like, man, I tell everyone that. You tell me some guy who bailed James Dean's Porsche isn't going to tell everyone that he did that? 100%. It's probably the only interesting thing that's ever happened to him.
Well, you're the one to know.
I'm just saying, if I bail something cool, I tell everyone about it.
You do.
If I'm allowed.
You do like to brag about the cool things that you destroy.
I just like to watch the heartbreak in all of your eyes.
Yeah.
It gives me life.
And it does. It does every time.
It brings me to life. So, that's basically all I got on the curse of Little Bastard.
Are there any theories as to where this curse came from? Was it Alec? Did he put... I think Alec put the fucking curse on this.
Why don't you leave Alec alone? He's done nothing to you.
He started it. He's the little bastard. How has this whole story not been about him?
He just said to James not to drive the car.
Allegedly said it to him one day and then comes out all these years later and just brags about it. Wild.
He didn't brag about it. He was talking about James on a talk show and brought it up and told them about the story of how he thought the car was evil. This is also years after the curse had reached its height.
Does Alec have a history of predicting evil events or objects?
I have no idea if he has anything. I just know that this is a weird part of the story. I think it's definitely a cool part.
I'm hung up on it.
I know you're hung up on it.
I think it's the part of the story.
So you think?
I think well, I'm not going to say that. Hold on. There could be legal issues.
Alec Guinness is dead.
Is he?
Yes, he died, I believe, in 1997.
Can his estate sue?
You're probably not a big enough deal to sue. No offense.
I think Alec had something to allegedly do with this.
You think he has something to do with it?
I mean, yeah.
Really?
How am I the only one?
You know what? I'm gonna search. I'm gonna see if anyone else is saying anything about Alec Guinness being responsible for James Dean's death, because I think
this is wild.
There was no theory suggesting Alec Guinness was involved in James Dean's death. Rather, Guinness famously warned Dean about his Porsche 550 Spider 1 week before the fatal crash, recalling it as a quote-unquote spooky experience.
Well, there you have it, I guess.
All of it's
Innocent.
it's like they all say it's premonition, predicting his death, warn James Dean of his death. There's nothing here saying that he had anything to do with it. It was also a week later. I don't know. It's just he had a weird feeling, and honestly, people do have weird feelings like that sometimes.
I get weird feelings all the time.
Mm-hmm. Do they ever come true?
Sometimes it's just from the food I eat at lunch.
That's what happens when you eat McDonald's twice a day.
It does come true, let me tell you.
No, but seriously, like, have you ever had something where you're like, I have a sixth sense about this. This is weird. I got something weird about it. And then something comes about with it that makes you like be like, oh shit, there was something weird about that.
I just chalk it up to paranoia and then block it out of my mind.
I'm sure that's healthy.
Worked.
Well, shall we go to conclusions?
Sure.
So, on the case of the curse of Little Bastard,
Yes.
where do you stand on our 1 to 5 scale?
Well, it's a great story. There's lots of deaths and maimings, both confirmed and alleged. Which is a lot for one car over the span of any period of time.
Sorry, I do want to say that even if you take the alleged parts out of it, it's still weird how many coincidences have happened after this car's initial demise.
Do I think it's a curse? If it was a curse, then Alec has some explaining to do.
Mm-hmm.
He probably can't do at this point.
Unless you get out a Ouija board.
I know what we're doing this weekend.
Nope. I ain't touching that shit.
I do think it's a wild story. I don't know what I think. It's it was a ruined car. There were poor safety practices back in the day. I just can't resign myself to say, yeah, it must be a curse.
So what would you say? Are you on the fence or are we on the skeptical side here?
I suppose I have to give it a number, don't I?
I like the number.
Between 1 and 5.
3 being on the fence, 4 being there's something there, 5 being I'm a believer, 2 I'm skeptic, 1 I'm a fucking crazy person. Would you like me to go over the cases like in short term again to fresh your memory?
Sure, give me the quick recap, the cliff notes, and I will give you a number without hesitation.
Alec Guinness's premonition of James Dean's death 1 week to the day. Dr. William Estrich using the parts and sharing it with his friend Troy McHenry. Troy McHenry dying in the race and William Estrich being injured. George Barris's unloading of the car, crushing his mechanic's leg when it fell off of the flat deck. George Barris selling the 2 tires on the car, which both simultaneously exploded on the new owner's vehicle. This one's the alleged one. The thieves breaking into George's shop and allegedly getting injured when trying to steal the car. The California Highway Patrol warehouse getting caught on fire from the source of the car, which had very little evidence of burning. This is the alleged one. The exhibit where it fell off and crushed the bystander's hip, although there are several stories that this fell off several times in several schools. There was the 2 trucks that crashed while transporting Little Bastard, and then the last one that killed George Barkis, but that one is kind of half alleged, half true. We don't truly know. And then the disappearance, never to be seen again.
I give it a 2.85.
Can't bump you up to 3? On the fence is not saying yes. It's just you're undecided.
2.9.
Okay, come on.
Final answer, 2.9.
Can't get you to 3?
Not quite at 3.
How much more? Oh, okay, it's like, how many coincidences we got? We got like 8.
8, 12, 13, I don't know.
It's like 4 times more than what you said was your limit for coincidences. It's a weird amount of shit that happened in a 5-year span.
2.99. Final answer.
Okay. You're at 2.99.
2.99.
What can I do to get you to a 3? Because you're so damn close. We have broken your rule of how many coincidences it is to make a curse, which is over 2. We've almost quadrupled that.
Well, part of the problem is we don't have a source of the curse. We have Alec. We don't have a curse. We have Alec. We have Alec starting this whole thing off. No one's paid attention to him this whole time. He came out to gloat about it. Who knows how many years later? And everyone was like,
I think it was about.
I think it's the car.
I think it was about 20.
I think it was the man.
Okay, so here, hypothetically, what if we say Alec was the one who put the curse on the car with his bad fucking vibes? All right. If we say the curse was started by Alec Guinness, does that help you at all get to on the fence? Because it's weird how much shit happened to this car. If it was 1, 2, even 3, I would say it's a coincidence. Because I'm not a big curse guy. But this one interests me. Because of how much bad shit happened.
A lot of bad shit did happen.
And also all those people that say like, oh, this is a cursed item. And you go to their museum and you can take a picture with it, but nothing happens because only the curse is sometimes. This curse seems to happen and it had to disappear. Who knows what it would still do if it was still around, but it's not. It had to stop. Someone had to stop it. There also has been rumors that George Barris may have buried it in the desert. George Barris is also a man who likes to put on a show.
There's a lot of rumors around that guy, not a lot of facts.
Usually if it's connected to him, I'm like, take it with a grain of salt. But it disappeared.
It disappeared.
And I'm pretty sure that original transaxle that was found was from one of the parts that Estrich took off of it.
You know what? With the sheer amount of stuff that has gone on, I'll give it an even 3.
Look at you fucking go!
There has been a lot of coincidences. You know what? No.
No?
I'm back to 2.99.
God fucking damn it! Fuck!
Nothing that's happened is just unexplainable. Coincidences do happen.
Yes, they do.
People die in cars.
Yes, they do.
Cars fall off of trucks.
Yes, they do. But this many times...
Bad parts cause other vehicles to fail.
This many times when it's attached to a famous guy, that means curse. I think this is a curse. Not even if I put your arch enemy Alec Guinness on the line and say he's the one who started it. You're not gonna pull up to that fence, are you?
This is purely for convincing me, though. This is not based in any sort of theoretical reality.
So I got you at a 2.9.
My attention is fully turned on Alec. I don't think it's a curse, though. I'm sorry, Jake. I
tried.
Curses, they're just not, I don't believe in them.
Unless there's something hard to go with it, I guess.
There's so many things I'd be ready to believe in before something as silly as a curse.
You know what? The reason I brought the curse today is because I'm not a big curse guy either. And usually curses are really easy to explain off.
Yeah.
I found this one really interesting. I really liked it. I like the tie-in with the celebrity. I like the story behind it. And also, one thing you actually told me once when we were starting this out was you will never get me to believe in any way that any sort of like ghost or spirituality is like believable at all. And the fact that I got you to almost a 3, I feel good that I could at least show you a little bit.
Don't fluff me. Don't fluff yourself or fluff me too much because I'm considering dropping it even more here. The more I think about
All
it.
right, we'll end it there. So, final answer.
Final answer 2.85.
Oh fuck! How'd you 2.99? All right. Well, I fucking ruined it. That's fine. All right. I can't get James past the fence this week, but hopefully next week I can come back with something to make him believe. Is there anything you want to say about the curse of little bastard? Any thoughts you have? Final exiting thoughts?
Yeah, even though he's dead, someone should really investigate this Alec guy. I don't know how no one is. I'm still lost as to how he could be spewing this, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, it's the car, man." I don't get it. This is wild. That's that's the real mystery to me. Is what's going on with this, or what went on with this dude? And yeah,
All right. Well, then maybe we'll have to do a crime podcast beside this and pair it.
do new genre every night if we feel the need.
All right. We got James close to a 3, but not quite. Yeah. Hopefully, I get him over the fence next time. But James, thank you once again for joining us this week.
Always a pleasure. I love hearing these stories.
Any final words you'd like to say?
Wear your seatbelt.
Good advice. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.